So we'll move through several yin poses, and then eventually we're going to close in a meditation, which you can do seated or reclined on your back, whatever works better for you. So coming down onto your back, maybe roll the shoulders underneath you a little bit just to open up through the chest. And let your feet drop out to the side slightly, your palms turn up, and just begin to breathe. Maybe flickering your eyes open as you inhale, and then on a big deep exhale, allow your eyes to slowly close. And just notice the heart beating right beneath the chest. Maybe it's the first time all week you've taken a moment to feel that internal reminder that you are alive. Our ability to be patient with ourselves, with our circumstances, and the other people in our lives is a lot of times dependent on how present we are. So when we slow down and we pay attention to the moment that we're in, we tend to respond in gratitude, trusting the process. But when we're worked up over wanting to be somewhere in the future, kind of resisting the present moment, we tend to respond in impatience. I'm not judging anything within you, just becoming aware of these truths, maybe isolating an area where you have been struggling to be patient. Maybe this time is dedicated to that part of your life. Maybe it's with your body, something with your family, with your work life. Just breathing into this moment here. And we'll take about 3 more breaths. And then on your next breath, go ahead and just send the arms overhead, stretching out. Take a big sip of air in, and then pour it out. And then from here, we'll just gently begin to hug the knees into the chest, giving yourself a nice big hug here. And then from here, we're going to begin to stamp the feet down to the earth. Begin to take your left leg up to the sky. And then just grab onto the hamstring here, just wrapping your hands around the back of the leg. And just take a few rounds of flexing the foot and pointing it up. And just releasing through the ankle, and the foot, maybe drawing some circles with the toes. One more breath here. And then on your exhale, we're going to cross that left leg all the way over the right, like you're sitting at a dinner table. Begin to open your arms out wide, and then just gently begin to scoot your hips slightly to the left, and then gently drop the knees over toward the right side. Now this is where a prop might come in handy. So I'm going to use my bolster to support my knees, so that I don't feel like I'm kind of hovering midair. And then just relax your body, allow the left shoulder head to melt in. The gaze can fall to the left as well if you'd like. And just breathing into those areas where you feel this most today. And we'll take one more breath here on this side. And then bringing your gaze back to center, the knees will follow. And then from here, we'll unravel that left leg. Grab for the hamstring once more, but this time keep the knee bent. Send your right heel forward, and then as you kick your left heel forward, let that momentum lift you up to a seat. We'll cross that left leg over the right leg, and then just continue to cross it over until you can set the knee down, maybe to your thigh or maybe onto a block or blanket if you need some support. Your right leg can stay straight out in front of you, or you can begin to bend at the right knee. So coming into our shoelace pose here, notice if you feel a little wonky through the hips, support yourself or just remove that bottom leg, it's no problem. We're gonna take the left hand out to the left side and begin to stretch your right arm up and overhead. And you can just let the arm hang overhead, letting the fingertips relax. And your left leg is holding the right leg in place. So really just allow your body to melt over toward that left side. Over time, if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can begin to drop the forearm down or maybe drop the elbow onto a block. Make sure that outer right hip, the right glute, stay grounded. And we'll take one more breath here. Gently begin to press yourself back up. Arm lifts off of the head, and just take a moment upright to feel the length through the right side body. And then from here, we'll just begin to slowly melt straight forward over the legs. You don't have to close out all of that space. Maybe you just go down about halfway, just finding that first surge of sensation, pausing there. Maybe utilize your props for support. On your next breath, slowly begin to peel yourself back up. No rush. And we'll just walk those hands over to the right for a moment, maybe dropping the right ear toward the right shoulder. And then we'll slowly come back to center. Unravel your legs and we'll just make our way back down onto the back. No rush to get there, taking a full body stretch when you arrive, breathing in and pouring out. And then from here, we'll begin to hug those knees to the chest. Again, just rock yourself a little bit here, releasing tension through the low back. And then eventually we'll stamp that left foot down this time. Lift that right leg straight up, linking your hands around the back of the leg just for some support as you stretch out the toes, the ankle, whatever kind of movement you did before, go ahead and match it here. And if you observe additional needs on this side, take any extra movements that will help. One more breath in. As you breathe out, we'll cross that leg over so that left leg is grounded. Scoot your hips slightly to the right and then open your arms wide as you drop your knees over to the left. And you can use your props for support here as I'm doing, just to close out that space between your knees and the floor, and then just let your right shoulder hang super heavy over to that right side. Just allowing the natural unraveling here of your spine as it slowly opens up with the breath. One more breath here. And then slowly begin to bring yourself back to center. Gently letting both hips land. Right knee will hug into the chest once more, this time keeping the knee bent. Left heel stretches forward, and then as you kick into that right foot, slowly draw yourself up to seated. We'll cross the right leg over this time. And you can just wiggle the foot over until you feel like you can land the knee either to your leg or to a prop. Bottom leg is optional. If you bent it in on the other side, try it here. And if you need to change it up, change it up. So we'll move into that side body stretch first. So taking the right hand over to the right side. Left arm will lift up and then reach it overhead, just letting it hang heavy. Maybe lowering down a little further if this side feels okay with it. And then slowly on your next breath, begin to come back up. Take your time. As you feel the length through the side body here, especially on that left side. And then if you'd like to take a little counter twist, begin to twist toward the left, maybe dropping that left ear to the left shoulder. Any props you'd like here. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to melt yourself forward over the legs. And of course you can continue to extend that bottom leg if that bent knee doesn't really work. And we'll take about 6 more breaths here, so about a minute, just kind of savoring the sensation that you feel. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to press your way up, probably feeling a little more balanced now that we're complete in that pose. We're just going to do a little dance move here. So begin to pivot on your feet as you pick your hips up. So you're in kind of a wide leg stance here. Toes maybe slightly in. I like to have a block nearby for support. We'll take our first breath in just to lift and lengthen the spine. And then as you breathe out, put a little bend in your knees just to support the hamstrings and the back. And then eventually begin to fold yourself downward. So you don't have to touch anything with your head, or you can just let it dangle, or you can let it land onto a prop or two. Slightly leaning forward here so the weight comes out of your heels and you're able to access those muscles through the back of your legs. So this is a really nice one for releasing the low back, getting that lymphatic system functioning, especially during this time of the year where pollen starts to form, buds start to pop up, tend to be a little congested. This will help to restore that nice immunity. So just hanging heavy here. We'll hold this a little longer than we would in a flow class, so make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to sink and release. Wherever you feel that sensation really deeply through the body, send and direct your breath into those tight spaces. Your breath will calm the nervous system, settle the muscles. Instead of worrying about touching your toes or getting your head to the ground, practice that patience here, that ability to be present, to be grateful for this body, that you get to move and breathe in. About 4 more breaths. And then on your next breath, put a bend into your knees just so you've got a little support. Hands come to the block or the floor as you lift yourself up about halfway and just gently move your hips side to side. Maybe put a little bend into the knee. And then when you're ready, we'll begin to just place those knees to the earth as we come to a tabletop position. Bring your toes together, shift your hips back to your heels, and take a child's pose. Maybe gently rolling the head side to side. And then from here, we'll slowly come up, sitting up. So from here, we're going to begin to move into a shoulder stretch. So the shoulder stretch can be a little intense, so make sure you listen to the options that you do have. And what we're going to do is we'll start seated, so finding a comfortable seat with plenty of space behind you. So I've got basically the entire mat behind me. And what we're going to do is we're going to come into a reclined cow face arm pose. So we're going to begin to take We'll start with the right hand. Take it down to the low back, so you've got a little wing out to the side here. So the palm of the hand is facing the space behind you. Bend into your knees, and then we'll slowly just roll down and kind of lay onto that hand. So once you come down, you might already feel this in the shoulder, the wrist, so you're welcome to kind of lean to the left if it's too much, or maintain that downward pressure and just stay where you are. To add on to this, you can take that left arm overhead and then tuck the palm of the left hand behind the back of your neck. So it's like a little hammock for your head to land in. And as you land in here, just begin to breathe into those initial sensations. We'll take about 3 breaths in this position. So you can stay here if this is plenty. If you'd like to add on, just begin to walk your hands closer toward one another. So the left hand walks further down the back, right hand further up. You can add on there. You can keep the legs as they are, or if you want to extend them straight, that might add a little more intensity. Notice the achiness, the sensation as it moves through your body, and direct your breath into that space. So you can stay right where you are if this is plenty, or if you'd like to go a little deeper, release that left arm out like a little cactus arm out to the side. Bend back into your knees, and then as you scoot your hips slightly to the left, begin to drop your knees over to the right. So just be really careful, as these sensations are definitely intense for the arm, shoulder, and wrist. If you feel good with it, stay. If it's too much, just back out of it. Your left arm can stay to kind of counterbalance you, or you can stretch it across your chest and just let it kind of dangle over. This is kind of a little bit of a pretzel pose, so try not to overanalyze it and just take about 4 more breaths. And then from here, begin to just come back onto your back. We'll drop the knees over to the left so you can remove that right arm, and then nice and slow begin to just stretch out any areas that feel like they could use some TLC. And then from here, hug the knees to the chest, maybe curl the forehead up to meet the knees. And then we'll come back up to seated, so rock yourself back up. We'll just move to the other side. So now the left hand will come to your low back. Elbows out like a little wing. And then when you're ready, we'll begin to just lay down, gently coming onto that hand. And then you can stay right here. This might be a little different from that other side, whether you feel more open or less, so just take care of yourself. The right arm can stay as it is, or you can take that palm behind the back of the neck And just rest the head into that arm. So if you're feeling quite a bit of sensation, just stay exactly as you are. If you'd like to go deeper, again, the way to do that is walking the hands a little closer toward one another. They don't have to touch, just finding a little more resistance to lean into. Letting the rest of your body just be heavy, even the muscles through your face. Your tongue relaxes away from the roof of the mouth, directing all of your energy, all of your attention into the sensation. And again, you can straighten out the legs if that would feel right for you. And if this is plenty, just stay as you are. Otherwise, begin to release the right arm out like a little cactus arm. The hips will slide gently over to the right so you can drop your knees to the left. And just decide if that feels okay. Maybe adjust your hand if needed. Right arm can stay to the side, or you can stretch it across the chest and over. And we'll take about 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to bring everything back to center, gently dropping the knees to the right to release that left hand. We're going to just set up for a short shavasana before our meditation on patience. So however you'd like to rest here for just a minute or two, just to kind of let the energy settle. And just coming down, finding a position, a place where you can just settle into the space you've opened up just by being still and by breathing. So releasing control over the breath, letting the muscles relax into the floor beneath you. And take rest. And keeping your body nice and relaxed, we'll just begin to move into a comfortable seated position. If you'd like to take your meditation on your back, you can stay exactly as you are. Otherwise, coming up and just finding a position here that you feel like you can sit in just for a couple of minutes here. So today we're going to move into our patience mudra, and a mudra is basically just a way to lock in the energy of the body. So if you think about acupuncture or any kind of massage therapy, something like that that works with the energy lines in the body, that's what we're doing here. So what we'll do is if you're comfortable with it, begin to bring your middle finger towards your thumb. Now the middle finger, ironically, is used for impatience a lot in our lives, but in the yoga practice and in mudras, this energy line that travels from your middle finger up to the midline is all about helping us develop patience. So when we're locking the energy and we're drawing our middle finger in to the thumb, we're actually able to hone in on that ability to be patient, to be still, to surrender. So if you're comfortable with it, find your mudra, let your hands and your elbows relax. And the eyes can close, or you can keep the gaze soft and forward. And just take a moment here just to feel the energy through the body, the awareness through your mind. Leaning into a steady rhythm with your breath, something that you can come back to when you get distracted. It's an inevitable part of meditation. Breath is our vehicle, which drives us right back into this moment. Allows us to be in our bodies and our minds and our hearts exactly as we are. And today, during our practice, if you isolated an area of your life where you are struggling to be still, kind of leaning into impatience more than trusting the process. Our simple mantra today is, it can wait. So whenever that distraction, that concern pops up, remind yourself that you're here and it can wait. Just sit for a couple of minutes in silence and in stillness, breathing and reminding yourself that you have time to be here. Release the mudra if you have it. Letting your hands curl into little fists for a moment, and then releasing the grip, allowing the palms to just turn upward. Take a big inhale here. Exhale to sigh it out of your mouth. And then we'll connect the palms together in front of the heart, a little bow of the head, just expressing some gratitude to yourself for taking the time to tune in to what's happening in your body, your mind, your heart. And most importantly, here at our hearts, that we reconnect with those inner rhythms. The heart is beating, the breath is flowing. These rhythms go with you into your day as a reminder that you are here. You are alive, you are present in this moment, and that means you are very truly blessed. Namaste.